Okay, we're live.
Good afternoon and welcome to the March 18th meeting of the East Lansing Downtown Development Authority Project and Infrastructure Committee meeting. If we could take the roll call, please.
Sure, thank you, Chair. Peter Dewan,
Present.
could you, sorry to didn't remind you, could you please state the city and state you're attending from remotely, please?
Sorry, Peter Dewan attending virtually from Lansing, Ingham County.
Thank you, sir. Jim Kroom,
Present, Jim Kroom, attending from Suttons Bay, Leelanau County, Michigan.
Michael Kruger,
Here, attending from East Lansing, Ingham County.
George Lahanas, not here today. Greg Ballline is not with us just yet. Jill Felposh,
Attending virtually from St. John's, Michigan, Clinton County.
and Mayor Stevens.
Present, attending virtually from East Lansing, Michigan.
And that completes the roll call. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Despite my background picture, I am not at the base of the Beaumont Tower, but hopefully we'll make our meeting visually interesting. Hopefully we can make it interesting as far as what we talk about. We have the agenda. Are there any changes to our agenda, Chad or Adam? Hearing none, I'm going to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented by staff and
I'll
ask
second.
for a second. Seconded by Mayor Stevens. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Thank you. Do we have any written communications? Don't believe so. Is there anyone wishing to address the project and infrastructure meeting? Any public input at this time?
Yes, Chair, there currently is callers that are in the queue. I'm going to call your last three digits of your number. You'll be unmuted and given 5 minutes to speak. And if you do not wish to speak, please just say pass. Caller 963, you've been asked to be unmuted. 5 minutes begins.
Hi, Alice Drager. I just wanted to say that the bridge is reporting that some of what the $12.5 million could potentially be used for the city of East Lansing from the Fed stimulus package is downtown improvements and infrastructure. And I'm hoping that you all are actively and quickly thinking about ways to potentially solve the Evergreen debt problem, if there's a way to do that with this money, since it might otherwise be difficult to find ways to spend $12.5 million. It would be great to fix roads, but we all know there's going to be a time limit on when this has to be spent, and there's going to be a lot of places vying for road contractors. So might there be a way to use this unusual bolus of money to solve that problem? Thanks. That's all, Chad.
Thank you.
Chad, do you mind if I commented really quick, or Peter?
Go ahead, Mayor Stevens.
Yeah, I think as more information comes out, we're going to be considering definitely all of our options, but I think that's definitely something on some folks' minds. So thanks for your comment.
Yeah, thank you for your comment, Alice. There's clearly a whole array of ways in which people are thinking of spending $12.5 million. So, but the comment is well noted. So thank you for your call. Are there additional people wishing to address the committee?
Yes, Chair, there's two other callers I just want to check in with. I believe they're here for other agenda items, but Amanda Oakes, if you wish to speak during public comment, your 5 minutes can begin now. And if you're here for an agenda item, please just say pass. Amanda, you've been unmuted. All right, we'll move on to the next caller, Joe David. Joe David, you'll be unmuted and given the opportunity to speak for 5 minutes. If you do not wish to speak at this time, please just say pass.
Pass.
Thank you. And that completes all the callers, Chair.
Great. Is there any communication from staff?
I was just going to give a brief update on the place project that we continue implementing. As you're aware, we've had 3 farmers markets so far to date. We've had 4 Weekend Warrior programs to date. And a reminder, the Weekend Warriors, they're Rotary volunteers that come down on Saturdays from 11 to 5 to hand out masks, hand sanitizer, hand warmers, and manage outdoor heaters. We're on our 3rd TikTok challenge. We're on our 2nd photo contest. And we just recently purchased more seating infrastructure for placement downtown and are currently working on some other creative infrastructure ideas to get assembled here in the next couple of weeks for installation. And those are all the updates I have for the Place project at this time.
Thank you, Adam. Hearing no additional items from staff, let's move on to our business agenda item 3.1, which is a request from 214 Group LLC for a city liquor license and entertainment license for 101 East Grand River Avenue.
Yeah, thanks,
Formerly
Chair.
known as the Land Shark.
Thank you, Chair. I realized the agenda item report may be a bit lengthy, so I'll just kind of summarize the request. It's a request from 214 Group LLC for a city liquor license and entertainment license at 101 East Grand River Ave, aka the Land Shark. 214 Group has started the transfer of ownership of the state liquor license for Land Shark, which at the state level does not require city approval. However, the city has its own liquor license approval process under policy resolution 1989-2, which typically would not require a new license. However, the previous owner allowed the city's liquor license, that local liquor license, to expire, which is why it does require city approval in this situation. Just a note, both fire and police have signed off, and the building inspectors will visit the facility prior to council's consideration of approval. And, staff have determined that the liquor license, entertainment license to be complete and compliant, and recommend the DDA consider recommending approval of the city liquor license to council. And there are representatives from 214 Group online here to answer any questions that you may have.
Great. Are there any questions of staff? When would this come up on council's agenda?
I don't have the exact date off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Chair, but we would bring this to the DDA board meeting next Thursday, March 25th.
Right. And I just have another question. Do the city of East Lansing's codes comply with the liquor control commissions? I think there were some items that we were not entirely in compliance with the state regulations, and I don't know if those have been addressed or resolved.
Yeah, we are looking into it. We're trying to align the local process with the state process because it's a bit outdated. The local liquor license process was, created many years ago. And so we are currently investigating how we can make changes to align it with the state.
Okay.
Sorry, when was the last time we did something like this?
Like what? I'm sorry.
Just I'm not super familiar with the I suppose the city liquor license in the sense of this code from you said 1989.
That's when the policy resolution was established. Yeah.
I was just wondering the kind of the history behind it when we might have seen this last.
Yeah, I don't have the the last time we've seen it, the history, that context for you. Sorry, Mayor.
Okay.
I can certainly look into that for you, though. I imagine that will come out, as we're doing research on this to try to better align it with the state process.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems to me that we have two, we have the state requirements, which really are the guiding direction on how we should respond.
Right.
Back in the 1980s, the city of East Lansing imposed further requirements The question that I had is whether or not we're being consistent with what is state law and the Liquor Control Commission's guidelines. So, but I clearly don't have any reason not to recommend to City Council the transfer of the liquor license and entertainment license. So I don't know if any other members have additional comments or questions or feel similar to my opinion, but if you can offer your thoughts on what our recommendation to the full DDA will be. This will come before the DDA on the 25th?
5th, correct, Chair.
Okay. Any other comments? Any
No, I
other?
mean, I agree with your assessment, Chair Dewan. I was just honestly interested in a little bit of the background on the provision. It's just not something that I'm super familiar with, and yeah. So
Yeah, I'm still learning, and I'm learning more as we dig in. So
Great.
happy to update you.
Great.
I want to.
This is Jim. I have no objection, Peter. I agree.
Thanks, Jim. Any other comments? I want to thank the new owners for joining the call today. I guess we don't have any questions for you, but thanks for giving up your time, and we look forward to your success. So do we need to formally recommend to the full DDA the project and infrastructure's support? Adam?
Good question, Chair.
Or this will just simply be on our business agenda item?
It'll be on the business agenda next week to recommend approval. And you guys can vote on it next week. And depending on how that outcome, we'll get the letter drafted and sent to council. Great.
All right. Well, hearing no additional comments or questions of the applicant, why don't we move on to the next item then?
Yeah,
which is the consideration of a special use permit application for the Collegiate Catering East Lansing LLC for the property at 133 Evergreen Avenue.
Correct. And David Haywood and his group are online to discuss.
Welcome, David.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is a proposal for a special use permit for a restaurant that would serve alcohol. They are proposing a restaurant on the 10th floor and also a cafe on the first floor. In both areas, alcohol would be served. The 10th floor has a combination of indoor and outdoor seating, patio up there. On the first floor lobby, it's approximately 1,400 square feet. That would have 82 seats for diners. And at the rooftop, it's about 2,500 square feet and 96 seats for diners with about 50-50 indoor outdoor. The hours of operation for the first floor cafe would be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. And on the rooftop, Monday through Thursday, 4 to 11, Friday, 4 to 12, Sunday 12 to 12, or excuse me, Saturday 12 to 12, and Sunday 12 to 10. The Planning Commission meets next Wednesday, and we'll discuss this item. They've already held a public hearing, so they could take action next Wednesday. And if they do take action, the council would see this as a public hearing in mid-May. So with that, I would take any questions.
What was the summary of the public hearing that occurred with the Planning Commission? Were there any concerns or issues addressed?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally they were comfortable with the proposal. I think there was some concern about the rooftop in the sense of, I think this is one of our first rooftop restaurants that might serve alcohol. So there was a lot of concern, or not a lot, but some concern about if there were objects that happened to fall over the edge of the railing from outside, and how would that be assessed in terms of safety for pedestrians below. So there was actually some considerable discussion about that, like what types of cups would be used. Would it be paper, plastic, or glass? And if they were glass, could that really injure somebody below? if they happen to go overboard. So I think that was the primary concerns in terms of, legitimate discussion items.
Okay. Are there any questions for Mr. Haywood? I again have no objections to the request on this license. I think it will be a great addition to the downtown. I'm not inclined to weigh in on what the establishment wishes to use with regard to their dinnerware or their glassware. I mean, that's I think that's a little bit of an overreach, but I don't know if that's within the purview of the Planning Commission or the DDA, but I think it's great that we will have these dining options and options for the community. So I don't have any additional questions. Any other members have questions of Mr. Haywood or thoughts or recommendations to the full DDA and or council?
I'm in support of approval.
Thanks, Jim. Anyone else? Okay, well, this will come before the full DDA then at our March 25th meeting.
Great.
This was a quick meeting today. Are there any member concerns or comments?
Yeah, I had just one thing, Chair, if you.
Sure.
All right.
Mayor Stevens.
Of course, he heads out right before there. I think Mr. Kruger is having some internet issues, but I just wanted to give a big kudos to not only the members of the RHC, but also just the members of our business community. Yesterday, there were definitely some bumps in the road in downtown East Lansing, but the vast majority of the businesses, especially the bars, had really orderly systems. Their staff was well trained. I went into establishments multiple times throughout the day and well into the night, and we saw people seated, people wearing masks, no lines, or very few lines. The issues that were there were addressed fairly quickly. Just a really good job, and a lot of it has to do with the proactive effort that the RHC and members of staff and members of our business community took to make sure that we would be in the position that we were in for yesterday, for what could have been a really, really busy day. And unfortunately, a lot of not great headlines for some of the businesses in our downtown. But that didn't happen because, quite frankly, we were prepared. And I just want to give kudos to those folks that were involved in that preparation. So.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Stevens.
Yep.
Any other comments or questions, statements? I'd like to just weigh in. There's been some discussion about, we've been looking at ways in which to activate spaces in our downtown. The East Lansing Rotary has taken a very active role with the city and participated with a Weekend Warrior project, as Adam had referenced earlier, where we're passing out masks and hand sanitizer and hand warmers and encouraging the citizens of our community to come and participate and patron our downtown businesses. One of the discussions that arose, and I'd like to extend credit to a student at Michigan State, Gabby Vizzacaro, who has offered some really creative and thoughtful ideas about creating green space opportunities in our downtown, and perhaps maybe on somewhat of a piloted basis, we could look at Albert Avenue between Mack and Grove Street as an option of maybe on a piloted basis, shutting that area of the street down. I know when we have our concerts in the Ann Street Plaza, that seems to be a highly trafficked area and really becomes somewhat of a town square, if you will. I think we've looked at a couple of different ideas as far as life safety issues, access by emergency vehicles and delivery vehicles. And I think it has real possibilities for the city to consider. And I know Adam was talking to businesses in the area along Albert, their opinions and thoughts. I think we need to maybe look at this as a way to have, as we have all these large scale developments going on in our downtown, we look at ways in which where we can create placemaking opportunities and perhaps some green space opportunities. So I'm fully supportive of this concept. I'd like to have further discussions. I'd like to hear, what our fire department says, what law enforcement says. I think we could really engineer and program areas in our downtown. We've had a successful run at the farmers market in the parking garage of the Marriott. And at some time, we're going to be kicked out of that space because they're going to need to use that parking lot. And I think we need to look at other areas of our downtown of maybe where we could relocate that farmers market on weekends. And this might be an ideal area. So just some thoughts for us to consider. And I'm sure there will be more information as we move forward. So I just want to offer that. Any other members wishing to offer a comment? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn is appropriate.
So moved.
It's been moved by Mayor Stevens, seconded by myself. All those in favor to adjourn, say aye.
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 Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time today. Bye now.